Hey guys, this is the Smut,
Spice,
and Everything Live podcast. We're your hosts. I'm Chelsea.
I'm Marie.
And today we're going to be reviewing our holiday book.
Yes!
How My Neighbor Stole Christmas by Meghan Quinn.
Y'all. Okay. It's a contemporary romance of the Christmas kind. I gave it 2 spicy chili peppers. Just 2.
I agree.
But overall rating, I say a 4. It is a true feel-good holiday Hallmark
romance.
It's a spicy, dirty Hallmark movie.
I kind of think it's a rom-com.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Rom-com.
It was very funny.
Overall, enjoyed the book. Definitely a lot fluffier than I've been reading, but still very much enjoyable. Would not suggest reading it. You have to listen to it.
The audiobook is the only way to go. Now, we listened and we read at the same time, which I recommend grabbing the book because it's got some great illustrations that I'll show you.
You get more from the audio. There are things in the audiobook that are not in the book. So there's 3 different parts that you can't follow along. It skips over. But the audio is just so well done with the vast amount of voiceover actors. You seriously can visualize everything in your mind. It's like you're watching a movie, but you're listening to it.
Sometimes I couldn't tell if they had 3 different people for Story, Aunt Cindy, and Taryn, or if Story's voice actor was changing her voice for all 3 of them.
There's a list. They list all the voice actors in it, and there's way more than in any other one. Don't bother reading it. Must listen to. There's so much sarcasm. I love a good sarcasm.
Yes.
I think that's very underrated.
Yes.
Sarcasm brought it.
Because we're sarcastic people.
Yes. And the narrator made this book. The narrator throughout this book made it. If he wasn't in it, I don't think I would have enjoyed it that much.
It wouldn't have been as funny without his
snark.
And
the way Meghan Quinn incorporated all the different Christmas themes that you have enjoyed throughout your life, whether it be, the main character is coal black. I thought, because of his black hole, he's like the Grinch.
Black heart.
What did I say?
Black hole.
I thought that he was named coal black because of his black heart, like coal. He reminded me of the Grinch. And then his best friend, Atlas Maxheimer, aka Max, for, his trusty sidekick, Max. And then there were so many more.
I thought that his name was Coal Black because, he's supposed to be the image of the Grinch, and he gets coal for Christmas because he's naughty.
But the Grinch hadn't always been naughty. His heart became black.
We just see this 2 different
ways. We do, and that's okay. That's okay. And then Aunt Cindy Lou Who.
Story from A Christmas Story. I didn't get that at first.
And then Taryn from A Christmas Story's author.
What's her name? Something Taryn.
Yeah. So just all of it. And then the way she incorporates different stories throughout.
Martha and May Hoosier. Yeah. Bob
Krampus.
Bob Krampus, aka Santa, a Christmas devil.
Yep. But he is Santa Claus in this book, so it's a funny take on it. Just overall, all of it is just awesome. I will say Cole pissed me off, though I was really hoping for there to be a more in-depth reason of why he hated stories so much.
Yeah,
I thought that was a bullshit reasoning.
I didn't like his reasoning. First of all,
and it's his own
fault.
Yes.
He's the one that chose not to tell her that his parents passed away.
Yes, and she was 18. He was 18, and he held a 10-year grudge over it. And like you said, it's his own damn fault.
It keeps him from grieving his parents fully. It keeps him from moving on.
Yeah. I was hoping for more. That was lackluster. Disappointed me. When it was a simplest thing, it's like, how old are we?
Yeah. I agree. And the way he treated her, it started when she came up to him and she was like, "Hi, Connor." I think that's what really pissed him off.
And she was being so innocent about it. She was just joking with him, and then he was just like grizzly bear on her. And
because he was holding that stupid grudge.
I know, pissed me off. Whatever, bypass him. I mean, he ended up getting better, but his reasoning pissed me off and just irritated me. Ugh. I will say that she made the town magical. She described everything in so much detail, at times too much detail, and then sometimes not enough detail. But you really got to envision how that town was, and it makes you want to be like, where is this town? Can I go visit it for Christmas time?
Overall, I like the way she writes because of the way she writes out their thoughts. Like, I feel like it would be something that went through my head.
Yeah.
Just the way that she writes them in their own head.
Yeah. She makes you, what's the word? Where you can
relate.
Yeah. That's the second time.
Relate.
She makes all their characters very relatable.
Especially my girl Story, because she is so perverted.
I love her. She's like extra perverted. Everything that comes out of her mouth, she can twist it in a perverted way. And I'm like, I love it.
It's because that's how we are.
Yeah. Very, very much so. Very perverted in my mind. And I have to be careful when I'm around my kids because I'm like, I will start laughing. I'm like, what's funny? I'm like, nothing. Nothing at all. You just keep eating that popsicle. Or whatever it may be. Like, it's the innocence and my perverted mind takes it somewhere else. And I'm just looking at my husband like, hey, they're occupied.
We need to have a meeting.
They're occupied. Christmas time, perfect excuse. I'm like, we're wrapping presents!
Go away!
Where's that paper? Crinkle, crinkle, crinkle. We're wrapping them! We're wrapping presents!
I'm wrapping a penis in here.
We don't wrap anymore.
I meant you.
Yeah, well, just saying, he doesn't wrap that up anymore. It's all mine.
So one of the first things she says that I thought was hilarious was when she's talking about the Christmas song that plays on repeat. Grandma gets run over by a reindeer.
Yes.
Maybe Grandma likes being run down by a reindeer.
You're saying that she likes being mauled by reindeers? I mean, who knows? The way they play it on repeat, it makes it sound like it does.
And then Grandpa didn't even mourn her. He just went about his merry way.
Yeah. Anybody here? Anyone knows where Grandma is? Nope. Okay.
Was that foreshadowing for when they were in the barn? The reindeer barn?
I don't feel like it. I don't feel like it.
Maybe it was just all of it.
She didn't get ran over. She got rammed in.
In the reindeer barn. In front of the reindeer.
Yeah, but she didn't get rammed over. She just got rammed.
Anyway.
Oh, and then he joins the competition out of spite. She doesn't even want to do the competition. And he, like, is freaking foaming at the mouth. He's so pissed off at her.
Because she joins it for Aunt Cindy.
Yeah.
Innocently. And then he's like, you're not fucking win this because I'm going to enter and I'm going to win.
Yes.
And then at the end, it's like they don't even care which one wins.
But the way Aunt Cindy is so manipulative. Love her. She's like, we can use my disability as an advantage.
But, okay, how did you imagine Aunt Cindy?
The way they described her, I didn't envision her as old as they said she was, but I envisioned her as like Sophia from Golden Girls. That's what I thought in my head.
When they were talking about cleaning her crevices, and it's probably because I used to work in the medical field, we got a lot of overweight patients. I was like, Aunt Cindy B.
And I thought crevices, having to take care of my grandfather and, bathe him, crevices as in like
wrinkly,
and you've got to make sure health-wise that you get in between those crevices so they are.
Towards the end, I realized Aunt Cindy can't be big because Story borrows a turtleneck sweater from her. Unless it's
and I just didn't even think about that, but that is a very valid point. She does borrow her clothes quite a bit.
And I'm like, all right, Aunt Cindy can't be big like I'm imagining her. She got to be this little petite woman.
Yes. So let's talk about the competition, because the competition was hilarious at parts. Very enjoyable.
One of my favorite parts, and it's probably because one of my favorite Christmas movies, because I'm a holiday freak, is A Christmas Vacation. And Jimmy is dressed up in his version of Uncle Eddie's robe with an RV hose telling everyone, shutter's full!
But then to add the smell
he didn't have to add the smell.
It would have been just as funny. The smell was unnecessary, but her detail to it just made you remember what stank smells like, because it's like, why would he do that? And then the way Taryn and Aunt Cindy dresses her down, where they put so much makeup on her that they make her look like a living corpse. And Max even says, describes her looking like a rotting corpse. Only later, after the girls won, to rise up like an erection sprung up like a pear from a tidy whities. And she bounces up out of the wheelchair.
He says, if they're going to use cadaver Aunt Cindy, we're going to use our what bodies?
We're going to use our bodacious bodies.
Bodacious body. And they did.
Yes, they did. Cole made Green look good.
I would love to see this. I know they probably won't make it a movie, but I'd love to see this in a movie and how that particular scene of Cole and Max on stage was acted out.
Yes. The
dressed up, acted out, the whole
clay-like abs. Which, if you have the book, which I think is awesome, and I hate that when you're listening to it or when you're reading it on your apps, your Kindle or whatever, you don't get the pictures. But if you actually have the book, they have illustrations, and it's amazing. Show them the one in the
I mean, come on. Like, thank you for that illustration because I needed that in my life.
Later, Hosen, please. Please and thank you.
And then Max over here. Like, I just can't.
Can we just say Max? I love Max. I love him so much.
And I loved his voice.
Yes.
Can he have more lines, please?
I wish I could have been front row and center to see his holly stick and berries, too. Like, I feel like I feel like that should be a part of our lives. Why did the only ladies get to see it? Like, I wouldn't have minded to see Cole's pelvic thrust that made trees faint. I mean, I want to see that. You have May who faints into Martha. You have Sherry who's over there licking her lips.
And Aunt Cindy.
What was it? Story asking Aunt Cindy, did you get cock shocked last night? Well, I rather got, cock poked. Like, could have poked me with his crotch. I wouldn't have been mad at it. So yeah, I just feel like, I wouldn't have minded that. I wanted to see some pelvic thrusting. And
another thing that I loved was their Mean Girls routine. Like, I am such a Mean Girls fan that it was one of my favorite parts.
When they said we could have had Mom and Dad up there with us, Dad so would have done it. It could be a family affair.
Yes, I love that.
Very nice. Very nice.
I just love the touches in this like that.
Yeah.
Like, you're bringing all these Christmas things, especially, like, since I felt like I was born in the wrong era, and this book is everything in that era to me.
Because you even caught on to the Happy Days nativity set. You truly were born in the wrong era. Because if I was to meet somebody from your generation, more than likely, they'd be like, who? What's Happy Days?
Right.
And I just feel like I think we need to go online and try to find that. I feel like I need that in my holiday collection.
Right.
Is that a real thing? Is that a real thing? Do y'all know if that's a real thing? Because if it is,
if you have the Happy Days nativity set, please send it to us.
Yeah.
Like, we need that link.
Send us a link because that sounds amazing. Which we already talked about this town being like that, but the way they describe Aunt Cindy's house after Taryn gets all of...
Did you get that? It's pink.
Yes, I did get that. But after they get all of her decorations down and, they're all put back out like she did it every year when they were little. How beautiful did that sound?
So, I had an aunt that passed away from breast cancer, and walking into her house during any holiday, I'm talking Valentine's Day, Easter, any holiday, but especially Halloween and Christmas. When you walked into her house during Christmas, you walked in there and you're like, this is the North fucking Pole. Santa threw up in here, and I loved it. So I could relate.
Do you think you'll try to do that?
Yes, I used to try so much more when I had the time because I didn't have a toddler. But when you walked into my house pre-kids, and Aunt Sheila, she gave me a lot of her stuff before she passed away. We split it up between her daughter and me. I'd still decorate my house with her stuff. And it's so sentimental to me. So I can relate to Story on that level of walking into Aunt Cindy's house and it being nostalgic. Because that was me walking into my aunt's house.
I don't feel like a lot of people do that nowadays.
I agree. They don't.
I just feel like it's a few decorations here and there. And I know my kids, which I don't put up near as much as I used to. And honestly, I don't even know why. I have to force myself to get decorations down. My oldest, especially, she is adamant about, Mommy, when are you going to put your Christmas stuff out. I want to put our Christmas stuff out. And she does it for Halloween,
Yes.
Thanksgiving, Christmas. I'm a full believer that there is a difference between Halloween, Thanksgiving,
Decoration.
and Christmas. So my Halloween and fall decorations, Thanksgiving decorations get put out at the same time. Halloween goes away, fall stays out.
Thanksgiving comes out.
Yes.
Yes.
Thanksgiving and fall stays out. Then it's Christmas.
Yes.
The day after Thanksgiving, all the
Yes.
Christmas stuff comes down. I mean, yeah, all the Christmas stuff comes down. Thanksgiving stuff goes up. But my daughter loves it. She absolutely loves it, and the youngest one loves it too. But if it wasn't for my oldest one, there'd be a couple of years where I wouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
But she, like...
You just get so
pushes me
busy
to
as
do
a
it.
mom that it becomes hard to get all that stuff out, especially when you're like us and you have a ton.
Yeah.
And then when they're toddlers, they want to get into it. Like, only half of my tree is decorated, but it's okay. When he gets older, the whole thing will be decked out.
Yeah.
But I want to deck the house out specifically for my kids.
Well, and I'm so OCD that I want stuff in certain areas, and having kids, I had to relinquish that because they want to help. And as a mother, as a parent, you have to give that to their kids.
Yes.
Like, you have to let them enjoy that. Whether it drives you crazy because that's not where it's supposed to go,
Right.
and that's not the way it's supposed to look, just let them do it. Just let them have fun and enjoy it so they will want to do it. My house is a complete disarray, but they love it. They think it's beautiful. They had fun. The tree is not what I would want, but they did it and they are proud of it. So
I'm
along
proud
with
of
other
it if
stuff.
they're proud of it.
That's right. But it sounds beautiful. And I really wish people would start doing that more. And just remembering what Christmas truly is about. And Meghan puts that in the book too. She makes it very known that this is a book to make you feel good. It's not about sadness, death, corruption. I have the highlight here. It says, "Do we always have to participate in entertainment that highlights drug abuse, sexual assault? Life is hard enough as it is. Why can't we just escape that and enjoy something that doesn't sprinkle us with a heavy dose of depression afterwards?" Well said. And this is what this book is about. And I think I have enough fluffy in my home and your relationship, my relationship, that I enjoy the dark side because it gives me that glimpse of
Dark
fantasy. Yeah, because I know it's not real. And it's not something that I would personally want to experience. But I do like reading about it. I enjoy it. The thrill that it gives me. Would I want that for me personally? No. But I enjoy reading it.
As someone in my dark romance era, I enjoyed this book, but pre-dark romance era, I would have enjoyed it more.
Yes. It was very enjoyable. I really, truly did enjoy the book.
It took me a few chapters to really get into it, because she's setting up the town in probably the first, 10 chapters.
It's a lot of detail. A lot of detail. And a lot of the detail is great, but there is over detail in a lot of stuff to me also in the book.
It took me until about chapter 10 to be fully invested.
Yeah. I mean, you didn't get a first glimpse of extra until chapter 21, and there's only 32 chapters. So it took a lot to get to any of that spiciness to it. But again, it builds it up. It builds it up well.
Slow burn.
It's very slow burn.
Because they have to become enemies to lovers, slow burn into that romance. And I'm like, I'm really used to the smut being in the first chapter. Where's it at? Can they kiss? Let's talk about how they got set up on this fake date. When they're both in the bakery shop.
Yes.
And his flirting backfires. And she finally is like, okay, I'll go on a date with you. And so then they have to go on this fake date.
Something's gonna happen.
Something's gonna happen. He was such an asshole to her. So I thought this date was gonna be where they kind of led into liking each other. And it, in a way,
it did.
It was. But in another way, it wasn't.
And again, it was him. It was not her.
Right.
I mean, yes, she was on guard or whatever, but she did, throughout the entire book, during the time that he was mad at her, she did try to be civilized with him.
Yeah.
And he just made it so hard. He was such an asshole. He made it so hard for her to be civilized that she felt like she had to retaliate.
Yeah. I feel like some of their sarcasm back and forth was going to be finally leading into something real. And when it did, he kind of shut down. And I'm like, bro,
you're pissed at her for the
you
pettiest of fucking reasons.
He could have admitted this shit to her on that date, and they could have healed and went through their love era a little earlier. But no.
And then when he does actually open up to her, her reaction is so perfect. Like, her sympathy, and it's even more so, you're a fucking asshole. Because she
would have stayed.
Empathizes with him.
She would have stayed.
Yes, and she even said, if I would have known, I would have stayed. I would have come back.
We'll talk about that in a minute. Anyway, so on the date, there were some things they said that cracked me up. One of them being when he says that occasionally he has to throw Max a bone. And I was like, that's punny.
Max from The Grinch, yeah.
Is a dog. I just thought that was really
She
punny.
does that just really punny. She does that a lot, though. She gives, like, little...
No, that was...
No, Megan, I'm saying.
Oh,
she
Meghan,
does that
she gives you little puns.
Yeah.
But, and then the other thing that I cracked up with was, nothing screams date like putting the bratwurst in my mouth.
Again, her perversion. I love it. She makes everything, and they even have conversations. You know, later on when they get together, they have conversations about her being perverted. Like, she can make everything perverted.
She'll be perverted, but she wants to say copulated.
Yeah. So
I'm like, what are you doing?
Will you please stop saying that? What do you want me to say? Fuck. The way he says fuck. Like, my gosh. Stop.
But I loved that everybody's in town trying to see if they went on this date. And then...
Was it Martha and May
walked up?
We're just trying to find you all again.
And they ran into Tanya, too.
Yep.
But I don't know what part that was. I think they were all three there. And then the kiss.
Under the mistletoe.
Under the friggin', and they're
and
like...
of course, Martha and May's the one that noticed it. Look at you two under there.
How did you feel about that kiss?
I thought the kiss was sweet.
I thought it was very sweet, too. And then she says that he parts his lips, and she wanted more. But he pulled away. I was like, oh, okay, so now he's going to be sweet to you.
And he still wasn't.
But they were both talking about that kiss.
Yes.
There's a picture. There's an illustration of them under the mistletoe in here, too.
Now, it's not as described, but illustrations hardly are as they described.
It is sort of. The only thing she's missing is her winter hat that she had on.
Yes, because she purposely does not go out full winter gear.
Yeah.
For her date, and she's freezing the entire time. Which, doesn't he offer her his jacket, or was he...
I was thinking that. I can't remember.
No. He takes her somewhere that has heat outside because he knows she would be cold, which was sweet.
That was him being a little sweet, but...
And then he breaks down because she asks about his parents, and then he goes back to being an asshole, and then he comes out of it again. But it was sweet. I mean, it didn't give me like yes vibes. It was just it was sweet.
It was sweet. That first kiss, because they didn't kiss when they were younger. They were just friends.
She had a crush on him.
He had a crush on her,
and nothing happened.
Okay, so then they got to go to the candy cane making class.
Yes,
that was a little. I could see what was coming there. I was when they were talking about you got to go to this candy cane making class, and it's this big winter storm. I'm like, he's going to the class too. I'm like, something's going to happen, and they're going to end up there together.
But the winter storm, wasn't necessarily calling for a winter storm, because that was Taryn's whole reasoning by pushing her. It's just and Aunt Cindy's. It's just a little
snow
flurries. Yeah. Like, it's not bad. And then she gets on the road and freaking downpours a blizzard.
Yeah.
And she cuts to the side and she ends up hitting the rail, and then she just has a complete and utter panic attack. Not because of the snow. She was panicking because of the snow. But I think she was freaking out to such an extreme because that was her worst fear coming to life.
I get it. But at the same time, I'm in my dark romance era, and I'm like, be a bad bitch.
And then she's bawling, crying. And of course, you already know Cole's going to rescue her.
Yeah.
And you're just hoping, okay, now's the time, right?
Right. And it was. Finally.
No. I mean, yes and no. Like, it still didn't happen.
No,
it did come soon.
He started breaking down, though.
Yeah.
Like, he was like, fuck, she's crying.
Because it scared him. Because that's how his parents died.
Yeah.
They went missing. This is stupid to hold this grudge over something as fucking petty as that
was. Finally, they're conversating normally in the truck, and he even comforts her a little, and then he scoots back over, and they start having this conversation, and I'm like, yes, here it comes. And finally, he's like, well, I have to look you in the face for this conversation. And she's like,
then pull over.
Well, pull over. Let's have this conversation.
Why the fuck do you hate me?
And a little bit, I was like, she's still kind of making this about herself, but it was kind of her fault. Didn't you feel that way? She's like, I can't believe I did that. I'm so sorry.
No.
You didn't?
Not at all. Not one time.
She's
not
like,
one
I was
time.
so focused on being embarrassed in front of the whole town.
Because his parents he did not know his parents had died yet.
They were missing. That's right. You're right.
It was the following day.
When she had left that he finds out.
That he finds out, and he immediately goes to talk to her, right. And she had already left. So no, at no point whatsoever did I feel like that was her fault. He was upset and he was letting her vent. He should have said, at some point during her venting and being upset, he should have said, my parents are missing. So she could have been there for him, but he didn't.
Do you feel like her leaving and him not having her to grieve with is what kept him from moving on? Like, all the furniture hadn't changed. He was still in his room.
And he even says that he always associated Christmas with Story because Story would come down. And so, yes, he lost his parents, he lost Story, he lost Christmas.
I don't know about you guys, but like when we can talk this out, there are things that click for me.
Same. With me, same. She'll say stuff, I'm like,
I didn't catch that.
Yeah, you're right.
This is why I like having these conversations, because I can more fully understand things in these books.
And that's why we want y'all to comment. Yeah. Comment and tell us your thoughts. You know, we're over here talking. We want y'all to engage with us too, obviously. So put your comments down. What did we miss that y'all caught? So just engage with us. We want to hear from y'all too.
Yeah.
If we get enough of y'all, we can do a live one and we can all talk together. And how amazing would that be?
So cool.
Wouldn't it? I want to do that so bad.
But after they have that conversation, they go to the candy cane class.
Yes.
And they do it.
They don't even get the class though. I would be pissed.
I was so petty.
If I paid for a fucking class, you're either going to refund me.
Yeah.
Or I'm leaving.
Right.
I'm taking that piece of paper that gives me instructions, though, and then I'm leaving.
That was really wrong. That was so petty.
And knowing that he stole all of that from, what's his face, the actual candy shop maker.
Yeah. But after the class, when they're standing outside, one of my favorite things was she's like, don't you think it's negligent cooking sugar, tugging, and pulling? I mean, are we making candy canes or are we arousing sugar?
Again, she's so perverted.
I would have never thought about that.
When she said the tugging and the pulling, I knew immediately where she was going. I was like, yeah, I can see it. There's a lot of tug and pull. And then it gets hard, and your tongue's usually white after you get to licking. Just saying. And
then she says something like, Christmas is a kinky bit. Because he's like,
why are you like this?
She's like, Christmas is a kinky bitch, don't you think? And he's like, what?
How is Christmas kinky?
I gotta go to the page because it's so funny. And she's like, I thought we established your snow daddy. Now, snow daddy makes it seem like you own Christmas. Like if Christmas wanted a spanking, you know.
Is that where he...
That's when he's like, if Christmas wanted a spanking, and she's like, oh yeah, Christmas can be a real kiki bitch.
Don't you think?
He needs her. He's like, can you explain? There's the whole sitting on Santa's lap thing, which I honestly think is weird myself. I think about it every time we go see Santa or something with my kid. But I'm trying not to be that perverted mom.
Oh, yeah, and you've got to think about, Santa's supposed to be, like a grandpa. Like grandfather Christmas. And what do you do with grandpa? You sit on his lap and you read stories and...
I get it, but no.
We don't do Santa in my house. And that's just our personal beliefs. We don't do Santa. My kids will not ruin it for other kids, though. They have been taught you don't ever go to another child and tell them Santa's not real. So we've had this long conversation, so don't come at me saying, oh my gosh, they're going to ruin it for other kids. No, they won't. They know. Even my 5-year-old knows not to do that. We just don't do Santa in my house because my husband doesn't want some imaginary person getting his credit.
I agree. I also have this thing about lying to my kids, so.
Well, there's that little thing.
And I get why people do it. I had it growing up. I loved it. But it broke my heart when I found out Santa wasn't real.
Thank you. And my kids know the story of Santa, like where it originated from.
We go do breakfast with Santa. We go do Santa things.
We'll do fun stuff, the activities, and Santa might be there, but my kids know that it's not. It's real.
Yeah, it's just a cartoon for Christmas.
But we're the Elf on the Shelf. You parents that do Elf on the Shelf.
You're committed.
Yes.
I can't. I mean, it's funny. It's cute. I can barely put up my Christmas decorations.
My house is a mess enough. I don't need a monster of an elf making it worse, and I'm the monster of the elf.
You're the ventriloquist.
Ooh, nice. Yes, yes.
But anyway, so she compares wreaths and candles to vaginas and penises. I was like, bro, yes.
She's like, and then the candle, and what is it doing? Like, oh my gosh, stop.
After that conversation, did you kind of think they might get it on?
I was hoping, because
when they got home in the truck, she's like, like expecting things, and he's just...
They were enjoying each other. They were having a good time. All of the dirty laundry was out. They were communicating. I was expecting something.
I know. And she was too. And he's like, I think he was just nervous.
I think so too. Because he wanted to.
He did want to. But he was like, all right, night, goodbye.
And then she was like, bye. And then she's gone.
Then
the tits on her, that she leaves and sneaks out of her house. Well, sneaks. She came out with hot cocoa.
Yeah. That's where I was going with
over to their house.
The same night, she's like, I gotta go back. She sneaks over there to his porch, and he's sitting out there. That was one of my favorite scenes in this book.
Yes. The description and how she takes charge. I'm like, you go, girl.
My girl, come on.
And the way she took charge, like, let me climb on his lap and get that kind of kiss. I ain't stopping. We can fuck out there on the porch. The willpower that she had.
Both of them.
Both of them. He stopped it, but because he didn't want her going inside the house.
I'd be like, I ain't gonna see nothing but you on top of me.
And she was like, well, we can go in the truck. There's room in the truck.
He was so against that, because she told him about... They were talking about their last sexual experience. And I'm like, wow, you're going to talk about that? And he's like, it's just, mine was just a nobody from a bar or something.
Passerby for Christmas came into town and she was leaving. And from a bar.
And hers is, she didn't want, I'm a lady, I'm not going to tell you that. But finally she does. And she's like, yeah, it was in a truck or a car or something. He's like, how do you do that in a truck? She's like, you've never done that in a truck. Have you done it?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Josh and I have had sex while he was driving down the road.
Whoa!
Back roads. There wasn't any other cars coming, but yeah.
Add to bucket list.
I just popped it out and climbed on top, and he was driving and I was a-bouncing.
Talk about sitting on laps. Wow.
It was enjoyable.
I mean, mine was, I don't even want to talk about it, but mine was in a parking lot somewhere. And
many a times parked out front his house.
Well, you guys were so young when you got together, too.
I was young. But it's not like we could go into his very Christian parents' home and do it. We would park late at night, so it's like, Mom, don't open the blinds. Lots of times in his truck. Now he says he's too old for that, because there's been times I'm like, let's go park. My knees can't take it. He's like, I got a bed at home. I'm not going to go in a truck.
Yeah, but the kids are at home. Like, we have some privacy.
Yes, when we go hunting, in the morning times, I try to give him blowjobs when he's driving down the road. And he denies me. I'm like, you're starting to make me think that my blowjobs aren't good.
That's rude.
I'm like, I will swallow. It's not like...
We gotta get into that later.
Anyway, continue.
She's sitting on the porch with him, and she got some guts to just take charge.
For sure.
Especially it's not their first kiss, but it's their first intimate, I like you for sure kiss.
Where they both parties are on the same page of how much they like each other. Max, next day. I just love Max. I mean, your best friend is telling you that his fantasy girl from his childhood, he finally kisses, and Cole makes a comment about her having a ficus, and his immediate response was, she's got a ficus? What kind of ficus? Like, what was it, a little fiddle leaf? Not like, oh wow, how was the kiss? No, he is invested in her ficus.
I would have been like, I really don't care what the inside of your house looks like.
She said that.
I know. Well, she did say that, but I would have been like, seriously.
How many dead bodies are inside? This is a fluffy book, though, so her mind's not going to go to that. Did we not establish
I know, but my interest would have been like so peaked that I'd have to be like, I really need to go in now.
Well, no, because he does say that his house hasn't changed since his parents died. So that's when she backed off.
You're right. I forget about that.
But let's talk about when. So you brought a good point up. So he finally is okay with her to bring her inside. And so she's brought inside. She handles it beautifully, by the way. I think that was so well written, so accepted.
Which Aunt Cindy planned out because they had to go to her doctor's appointment.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It just happened to work out perfectly. But so she goes inside and she doesn't judge. She doesn't say anything bad, nothing like that. And he breathes that sigh of relief. Now I'm going to fast forward. This irritates the shit out of me. Okay? These are 28-year-olds. You're getting it on and you're fucking dry humping? Dry humping? They are 28 years old. They're 28 and there's no one home. You are by yourself in your own home. Nobody's there. You have every opportunity. But we are going to, what is the word where you go back in time? Whatever. You're going to revert back to a teenager where you're making out in a makeout session and then you start dry humping and she's just like, oh my gosh, he's so big, and she's just going to town on his rubbing it raw shit, and then she gets off and then he, instead of putting it in her, he wants to come in her mouth. Open up. No, sorry.
She was trying to make it hot. She tried to make that scene hot after the dry.
I'm not, like, whatever, swallowing cum, whatever. It's how that whole scene played out. Okay?
It wasn't my favorite, because I was like, for a minute I was like, are they having sex? No, they still have their underwear on. Like, what is happening? And then she's like, I just got off on a dry hump. And I'm like, I cannot. What are we doing? Can we have some real smut in here?
Yeah. I just can't.
Do they go up to his room after that?
Yes, they go up to the room and she, he still hasn't allowed himself into the other room. So it's like a shrine to his childhood, to when he was 18.
And she has to take down the Miss Piggy poster.
And she goes into the room and she tells him, because there's a, Max was screwing with him and put a Miss Piggy poster above his room, and it's, I don't really feel comfortable bouncing on your penis to a picture of Miss Piggy.
I wouldn't be comfortable.
And I'm just like, wow. Just wow. And I'm sorry. I'm probably going to hurt some of y'all's feelings, but their sex talk gives me the ick.
It's not my favorite sex talk.
And again, I don't know if it's because of the books that I have been reading.
Probably.
Because this book was enjoyable, and I'm sure if you don't read the darker, filthier stuff, this is like, oh my gosh, it's so dirty. No, show me how you love my cock.
No. Turned off.
Yeah. No, and then it's like, that's it, story, all the way down. No!
Can you say that in a different way?
I don't know, people. I'm sorry. Help me understand that. Maybe it just wasn't voiced the right way, like you said.
Written the right way.
I mean, it was written fine, I guess, but it swaps too much to where it's like innocent sex and like sweet sex to, okay, now we want to do dirty sex.
We're going to try some dirty sex.
One or the other.
Yeah, agree.
In a story, one or the other. And you can there are some stories where they do have sweet sex, but it's better somehow. I don't know. It was like they were trying too hard for it to be dirty, and it made it. And then she messes with him and calls him Snow Daddy, and he's like, don't call me Snow Daddy. And she says, what do you want me to call you? And I think one of his comments was Big Daddy Dick Dong or something. That would be his name from now on. Yes, Big Daddy Dick Dong. And the texting. I know that it's fine in a book or whatever. I don't know why it bothers me. It does. I think there was too much of it reading in the book.
It didn't bother me. It was a whole chapter, though.
Listening wasn't bad.
It was the whole chapter.
Yeah, I just thought it was too much. Listening to it wasn't bad, but I was listening and reading, and I'm just like, my gosh, when is it going to stop?
What else were they going to do? Because she couldn't get over there.
I get that, but that's another thing. I don't know. It's just, there's too much drama. It's like, you grown. Just go over there and get some dick.
I know, right? I would have been like, you know what?
And can we not address, I'm sorry, I know I cut you off, but can we not address the fact that it's snowing? So anytime they go to their houses, there is snow tracks. Back and forth, people.
I'm sorry, but if it had turned into something real, which I know she wasn't close with her sister, but I would have been like, yeah, this is real now. Like, I don't think I would have hit it because I'm still in this competition for my Aunt Cindy. And I am falling in love with this guy from my childhood, and I'm not gonna.
I don't think she had enough confidence in herself to win it. I think that was the thing. I don't think she had enough confidence to say, I'm falling for him, we're dating, and then not think, especially her sister, not think that she's not giving it her all. Because what does her sister immediately do when she finds out that it's real? She assumes that she wasn't giving it her all. Or that Cole has been screwing with her sister, and then that infuriates her.
True. Did you notice that once they started dating, I don't know, for real, Max was, before, he's all like, you gonna get on some of that? Like, you always had a crush on her when we were kids, you gonna get on some of that? And then when they start really having this intimacy, this real stuff, Max starts putting it in his head that she's screwing with him to win the competition.
Because Max got invested in that competition. He got invested in the competition, and he thought the same thing that Taryn did.
But that's your best friend.
And he doesn't want him getting hurt.
I understand.
And I feel like Max might be, secretly in love with him.
You got those vibes too?
Like,
they did call each other dear.
And it could be joking, but there's definitely...
They were definitely joking when they called each other dear.
Yeah, I get there's definitely a connection between them, and it possibly could have went deeper for Max. Or I could be reading this completely wrong. How did y'all feel about it?
They were both like, he's like my brother. His parents basically took me in and raised me after my parents died. Maybe it's just a brotherly love.
Yeah, but how many books have we read that there's a bunch of stepbrothers? They're not blood brothers. So, just saying.
Alright, point.
When they did start dating, though, for real, I loved his teasing of her. Like, because there still was that snarkiness between the both of them. And, she makes a comment. And she says, a gentleman can hold your door and slap your ass, your fine ass, too. And then he proceeds to open her door and slap her ass afterwards. Like, I enjoy that. I love when my husband slaps my ass. I'm like, it makes me feel wanted, like I still got it. Some people are like, that's degrading. No, that's hot. That's sexy. Slap my ass.
That tells me you're still attracted to me.
Yes. You still notice me.
Yes. You have a nice look at my hiney.
Yes. I've been with mine for, how old am I?
36.
I've been with mine for 20 years.
Wow.
So the fact that he still comes up and smacks my ass, that makes me feel good.
It should.
And you just said, wow. Like,
I didn't. No. Me and Garrett have been together for almost 10 years. But I'm thinking, damn, we've been together for half the time y'all been together. I'm like, wow.
But 20 years.
Because I'm sitting here thinking, we've been together a long ass time. And you're like, we've been together 20 years. And I'm like, damn, they've been together a long ass time.
I was very, very blessed to have found mine at such a young age. I mean, we were 16. I was 16 when we got together, but yeah, been together for 20 years.
That's so crazy. I mean, I knew what age y'all were when you got together, but
saying it out loud is different. Yeah, so I like it. And I'm happy to say that our sex life is still active. I still can't get enough of that dick. Get you one that you want.
The next thing was the barn scene.
You gotta love a man who loves animals. I mean, he could name those reindeers, maybe too much. So, in detail, I can too, on every reindeer and their personality.
Which had different names than Donner, Blitzen, Comet, Cupid, whatever.
Well, he said that their names, when they're showing, that's their names.
I know, but why have two different... Anyway, it don't matter.
Yeah. But there's just something about a man that loves an animal, or loves animals.
Yeah.
And can show the compassion for the animals. It's just hot.
Agreed. It makes them look soft.
And Cole is a little soft. Like, if you're gonna tie me up to a piece of wood, don't ask me if it hurts. A pole. Like, if you're gonna...
Clearly, we're not into kinks here. Even though he tied her up, we're not into the big kinks of pain with your pleasure.
Yeah. I mean, to a point, I think you are. Like, he likes to tease her. He likes to get her there and then take it away. But yeah, you're gonna tie her up, but you're gonna make sure that she's comfortable. I mean, that's a gentleman for you. And then he's gonna say, "Suck my cock," and it's like, how do you do that? Like,
I know. I was like,
you give me no direction.
that can't be comfortable.
Well, she says she sat on her heels, so I mean, I guess it was pretty comfortable.
How did you feel about the candy cane scene? Did it live up to your expectations?
Gosh, no. Well, Chelsea, let me tell you why. Because I apparently read film, and you rubbing a candy cane on my clit's just not dirty enough for me, okay? I still think that's going to cause a yeast infection, but I still thought that it was going to go inside some holes, and it didn't. It was just some clit sensation and flavoring.
For a fluffy romance, it was a
fluffy romance on par.
It was on par for a fluffy romance.
My apparently mentally unstable mind, not so much.
Your dark romance era self said, we need more. We need more fillage.
You want to know when I first heard about the candy cane, I was like, well,
what's that burn?
Look, this is how screwed up my mind is. Because I'm like, well, you know, if a candy cane ever broke off inside you, it would melt from the heat.
Oh, I thought that too.
So, I mean, yeah, it's still going to cause a yeast infection, but at least it'll come out. I mean, you don't have to go to the ER for a candy cane.
You can dig up in there and get it out.
Or if it gets lost, again, the heat will melt it.
Use your tongue to find it.
I mean, I can't do it to myself, so it's kind of redundant, and my husband's tongue is...
I can't.
Yes. I mean, he can do some pleasure with that little tongue, let me tell you what, but... He's like, that's it.
So the candy cane scene, I didn't think it was that bad, but I haven't dove as dark as you have, so.
She a damn lie.
I've not read Hunting Adeline. Ain't nobody shoved no guns in nobody.
No, but you had 3 in one hole, and I still don't know how the hell that works.
Anyway.
Maybe Max can get in on it. And
there's an idea.
2 in one hole.
Roof. I like Max so much, I need there to be a book about him.
Okay, alright. We're going to go to the barn. So, he had his fun with peppermint flavor.
It wasn't peppermint, it was pineapple.
Shit, that's right. He had his fun with the pineapple flavor. Now it's her turn to have fun with the candy cane for a minute. Because I don't understand. Maybe y'all can explain it to me. Or maybe my husband just doesn't have this problem. I don't know. Because it's pineapple flavored candy cane, right? And if he is rolling the flavor on his pecker and she is proceeding to suck him off, how does she taste the pre-cum? If all she is tasting is pineapple, how does she taste the pre-cum? Because I cannot taste my husband's pre-cum.
I could tell a difference. I would be able to taste the difference.
If all you tasted was pineapple, you would know if there was pre-cum.
Yeah.
How much pre-cum does your man produce? How much pre-cum do your men produce?
I don't think it's the amount. I think it's the contrast of flavors.
I don't know. I guess that's just me. I just feel like if I had pineapple flavor, I'm not gonna feel it. Like when I put chocolate syrup on the dick and I'm licking it off, I don't taste the pre-cum. The syrup, the caramel, the
whatever Josh
whipped
eats,
cream, whatever I'm sticking on that pecker to lick off, I don't taste it.
Whatever he's eating,
even the ice
it's
cube.
working for him.
Even the ice cube. When I do the ice cube, he enjoys a good ice cube in the mouth while getting a blowjob. But I don't taste the pre-cum.
I think it's just your experience with him.
Okay, so guess it's
because
just me.
I think I would be able to some flavors there.
You have homework.
Shut up. No.
I'm gonna give you homework, and I think you need to get whatever flavor suits your fancy. Try that out and let me know if you can actually taste the difference.
I'll let him know that we have homework, and I'm sure he will be okay with it.
I'm sure he would be too. What about your face? I have an issue with I don't want you touching my face. I don't like acne, and I just feel like all the grease from your fingers. I don't want you touching my face. I don't like my kids touching my face. I mean, I do it because I'm a mother, and I let them, and I don't like it, though. So I, like, kind of direct them away, but don't come on my face. No?
The way
Thank
you just
you.
went from your kids touching.
Just saying. My kids are a whole nother story. I will allow a lot of things when it comes to my kids.
You have weird icks.
Yes, I don't want fingers in my mouth, and I don't want cum on my face. I don't feel like that is a weird ick. Yeah, no, I don't even want to go to the fingers.
We didn't say anything about fingers.
Isn't the fingers in here, though?
He did. No, it was the candy cane.
I'm pretty sure fingers were in here, too.
There's some finger licking action in there somewhere. I just don't remember what part it was, because they're all together in my head.
What is the obsession with licking fingers?
Not just licking fingers. That's what's on them.
Oh, and then the candy cane. Ugh. When he, you know what I mean? Like, he takes that candy cane and he spoons it up from her leg, dripping, and he sticks the cum and the candy cane in her mouth. See? You just did it.
I know, it's just the way you... Yeah, that one got me.
Wasn't sexy, was it? Yeah. Gross.
I think you're right. That's kind of gross.
Yeah. I don't like it. No.
Okay. I can't.
I can't do fingers, and I can't do that. Don't come on my face. Don't stick your cum in my mouth. That's been somewhere else. Okay?
Touche.
If you do it to me, I'm doing it to you. So I hope you enjoy the taste of yourself, because I'm shoving it in your mouth too. Letting you know. I'm warning you now.
Overall, the barn scene was hot.
Oh,
I liked it.
Yes, I liked it too. I was like, ooh, they kind of cheeky.
Afterwards, Max was like, "Did you kill her? Like, did they know Max was there?
What
did
were
you
those
kill
sounds
her?
coming from the barn?"
I was like, "Oh my god, he heard them." That I did not expect. I thought they were there by themselves.
They did too.
I thought it was so funny.
So when I'm going backwards, back to the barn scene. I mean, Max very well may be during this time. But Cole's going down on her. And he's eating her out. And she's explaining how he's doing it, teasing her and all that stuff. And then he gives kisses to her clit. Don't kiss it. Suck that shit. Don't kiss it.
He teases her so much.
He does. He definitely does. Brings her to the brink.
Every time.
And then takes it back.
Every time.
Brings her to the brink, take it back.
I'd be
and
like,
I'm sure
bro,
those orgasms are like fire.
Oh, I'm sure.
To be teased like that.
Just built up so
But don't
much.
kiss my clit. I need that. I need it rough. I like it rough. I mean, I like the sensual every once in a while, but I like it rough.
Can't disagree.
I want to hear that. That's not very loud, but you know. I want to hear it pop. Yeah, that was sexy. Tie me up and eat me out. Yes, check. It's hot. It's sexy.
Oops.
I'm so sexy. I'm vibrating. Oh, so in one of their other scenes that they have, he bites her on her neck. I don't know if y'all have ever gotten bit in the neck, but highly suggest you ask your significant other to bite your neck.
They are, again, reliving their teenage years when they did not get that in their teenage years, because when the next time he sees Max and they're changing clothes or whatever. What?
The leprosy. The leopard spots all over.
Leprosy. Leprosy is what you get from armadillos.
No, armadillo.
Yes, they carry leprosy.
Yeah, but you know what? It's not just armadillos.
I know, but that's what I associate it with.
Let's go back. Okay. Relive high school years.
Yeah, okay. They're reliving their high school years because when he's changing clothes or something the next time in front of Max, Max is like, holy shit, man, you look like a leopard. What were you doing?
And
he's got scratch marks all over him. He's like, you look like you mauled her.
Is she still alive?
Again, what did you kill her? That had me tripping. Especially, like, and, like, in reading the book, I don't think you get it as good as when you get the audio, like, the concern in his voice.
Yes.
And he's like, you should have seen her.
Well, and it describes her trying to cover up the spots.
And then she sneaks, I don't know if this is the same scene.
When she sneaks into the house and the sister gets caught.
Yes, and she's like, is that a bruise?
What was her excuse?
I can't remember, something so stupid.
Oh my gosh. Oh, she fell in her room. She was getting up and she fell.
In her room or something dumb. She believes it. How do you buy that? And then the excuse,
I'm surprised, because
where have you been?
I'm surprised you didn't wake up with as loud as I was. She played it off doing that.
Okay, and then she's like, wait, where have you been? Why were you outside? I was just checking the snow.
Again.
Bro.
Snow prints in the snow are leading back from house to house.
Maybe she just didn't check it. Maybe she just believed her.
Did we do some, like, 101 Dalmatian action with, like, the leaves and brushing our tracks away?
No, she just didn't go check.
Dumb.
I mean, and if it's constantly snowing, the snow is going to cover up the tracks. So.
True.
Taryn, let's talk about Taryn. She pisses me off.
Yes, but you also have to remember, you're not getting her side of the story either, because she is more with Aunt Cindy. So she's more with Aunt Cindy and taking care of her, and Aunt Cindy is giving her a story. You know, she's manipulating her.
Well, this is true. Aunt Cindy knew what was going on between them, probably from talking to her friends in town or something.
She suspected.
Yeah, she does. She suspected. And so she's, like, probably trying to keep Taryn away from all that so that Story can bond with Cole.
Because she gave her the sob story when they were going to the doctor.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why when Taryn came back, she was like 90-0 with the decorations, the lights, and she was, we're going to win this, and this is going to be her last Christmas, and we're doing this for our aunt, and
all the while Aunt Cindy's.
Yeah, her mom and dad were on it too. Like, Mom and Aunt Cindy came up with this plan.
They came up with the plan to have the girls bond.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Not for Story to bond with Cole.
Not with Story to bond with Cole.
Yeah, that was just Aunt Cindy wanted that because she said that she threw them together from the time that they met when they were 8 years old.
She knew that they had a connection, and for them to have grown apart, she wanted them to rekindle.
Mm-hmm. So Aunt Cindy had 2 objectives.
She did.
Taryn,
conniving old little thing. She wanted
Taryn and Story to have that, to rebond, and she wanted her and Cole to. Yeah. Is that what she said?
I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed the book, as, again, it was very fluffy, very happy. So I would highly recommend it. I don't recommend it if you think you're going in and getting this hot, steamy, sexy book.
It is a slow burn, enemies to lovers, fluffy romance, which for what it was
very good.
I think it was a little overhyped. But okay, anyways, the ending. So Taryn, we see her point of view, and she's like, bells go off in her head, or light bulb, and she's like, he is manipulating her. And she goes and tears down his light display. Yeah, like tears down his light display, and like
every damn light he has, coming from the same girl that didn't want to get on the roof because it was dangerous. She had anger issues.
She did have anger issues, and I get she was trying to protect her sister, but that was a little much. It was a little much, if you ask me. And
she snapped.
She did snap.
It was that snap moment. I think she just had enough. She was dealing with Aunt Cindy every single day. She was being manipulated by her. You don't know her whole story, but she was being manipulated with her. Not to mention, she had a boyfriend she obviously cares and loves about. They were doing dirty stuff over the phone. I bet those conversations were worth reading about or listening about. But anyways, they were doing stuff. So she wanted to be there, but she also wanted to leave too. So I think she was torn in both worlds.
Well, they did not really bond until finally everything comes out. Like, she didn't open up with Story until Story finally came out with, like, hey, we have a real relationship now. This isn't some fake dating thing.
But do you think they even really truly bonded, though? Like, I feel like they addressed a problem, but I don't feel like they bonded.
I mean, there were some times
like, I'm sorry I
treated
treated that way. I'm going to be better. I'm sorry I treated you this way. It's going to be better. And that was kind of the end.
Yeah, I guess you're right. There were things in there where Story said that Taryn told her that she was proud of her for facing her fears.
And hugging her. She's like, they don't hug. That was the first time she hugged her after she won that one competition.
Yeah. But yeah, I think you're right. That they addressed the problem and they didn't really bond until the end, where you get like this preview into their life in the epilogue. And
which I feel like could have been longer.
Okay, to me, the last chapter ended abruptly. I needed a little more detail in that last chapter, and then the epilogue was really short and ended abruptly as well.
But how funny was it when Cole is in the epilogue and he is explaining and he's like, wait, I have a kid? And he's like, after the narrator's like, after all the fucking y'all done, you didn't think you'd get her pregnant? It's like,
yes, I loved that.
I think that made the epilogue for me.
I loved that they had a baby. I loved that she was a nursing mom, because it talks about her sitting there nursing their baby girl. I was like, oh, it's so sweet. I love it because we were nursing moms, you know. Yeah. I love to see that. They're going to get married on Christmas Eve.
Yeah, Christmas Eve.
Yeah,
they're planning the wedding.
I thought that was so cute
because somebody in the town was upset about it being on Christmas Eve.
I think it's perfect. Atlas, there's that last comment, and he's like, Max has entered the contest, and they make a comment about Dwight Yokel and entering. And from what Atlas told me, it's going to be a real sausage show between them. So I can't wait.
Remember, Dwight was Atlas's bully in school.
Okay, are we...
I feel like Max could be experimental, if not bi, if not gay. Like, I feel like his actions and how he speaks and the way he's
very
holds
open
himself.
He's very open with his emotions, with
his sexuality. He owns who he is, and so it makes you feel like he possibly could be.
And you never really hear about him having a date with him ever.
You don't hear about him having a date specifically with a man or a woman. That's all he says. He doesn't delve into previous relationships. He doesn't give any hints of any kind of what he's into.
Yeah, I really need a book. The next book, I need it to be about Max.
Yes.
What he's into, who he's going to be with.
I mean, I'd read it. So, this is our first Meghan Quinn book. I give this a 4-star rating. I think it was well written. Could it be more dirtier for me? Yes.
It was worth listening to.
Thank you
I
for correcting
can't
me.
Express this enough.
Listen.
Do the Audible free trial if you need to. It is so good.
You need the full experience.
And I followed along, like I said, and I looked at the illustrations in here, which I absolutely loved. This was after they made up. How sweet.
I think it's very well illustrated as far as their features, too.
Yes, it is. It gives me that full visual that I need sometimes.
Yeah. I know this is completely wrong, but I still feel like I visualize Cole as, like, a reddish-haired man.
Really?
I don't know. I know it's not right.
But
in my mind, I feel like he should have red hair.
But Story has red hair.
I know, and that's why I said it's not right. Doesn't even sound right. Or Max. Well, I feel like one of them should have red hair.
I envision Max with blonde hair for some reason, but...
Strawberry blonde?
Cole, he's this...
Can I get some red in there?
Cole is tall, dark, and handsome.
Yeah.
You know, like rugged and a farm man.
With a splatter of chest hair. Just a little
sprinkle of chest hair.
Sprinkle of finely clipped.
Which I liked.
I didn't like chest hair until my husband decided he wanted to go full woolly mammoth on me as he got older, and he just keeps getting hairier, and I'm like, it's not that bad. It's kind of sexy.
The older you get, your tastes really change. Not really change, just like how you find people attractive.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
When I was younger, I was like, ew, you have chest hair. Now I'm like, I can get on board with that.
I get that.
But it's like you said, like, the older men get, they just look better with age.
Oh my gosh, yes. My husband gets sexier and sexier. And I will say this 1,000 times. I am glad I got that blood contract when I did. Because he's got me. And he cannot get rid of me unless all the blood is drained from his body.
Yeah. But I enjoyed all the little sprinkles of other Christmassy movies and stuff she put in there.
I enjoy holiday reads.
We need to tell them our winner for our next read, our next podcast.
So we gave you 3 options, and we only got a few votes, but those votes counted, and we will be reading Birthday Girl. Yay!
It's by Penelope Douglas.
So we will start that book next, read it, come back, join our podcast, comment, help review with us. We have 3 more options after we read Birthday Girl. Why don't you go ahead and tell them the 3 that they need to choose from for our next vote?
Our next choices are Still Breathing by Jennifer Hartman, The Ritual by Chantel Tessier. I'm so excited to get to read that. It's been on my list a while. Love and Other Words by Christina Lauren. So, we want to try to give you a variety.
Yeah. So, 3 different options. So, cast your votes. We'll stop those votings on Tuesday. And then we will announce the winner on our next podcast of that vote. And that will be on the 27th.
Yep.
So, the 27th, we are going to be doing the review of Birthday Girl. We will let you know the winner of these 3 book options. And we hope to see and hear from y'all soon.
Okay, bye!
Bye! Happy holidays!